The thunderbolt by Lockman not only represented the culture and religious success of the Muslim views on the Crusades, but also portrayed the importance of the siege of Bayezid and other battles and conquests on Islamic culture and economy. The Crusades, both the conquest and religious aspects, are the points that this painting represents and illustrates in Islamic society. These religious wars, which were part of many military conflicts of a religious character, had significant effects on the people of Islamic descent because it not only affected and changed parts of their art and culture, but also spread their ideas throughout Asia and Asia Minor. There were 7 major crusades which were fought against the Muslims in the Near East. The conquest of the Crusades was the main interaction between people of different cultures, though usually not under kind circumstances. Lockman created this painting in 1584 with a mix of watercolors and ink. In the painting, he appears as the mounted swordsman with a large multi-plumed turban in the center of the illustration.
Bayezid I, nicknamed Yildirim the Thunderbolt, was the Ottoman Sultan from 1389 to 1402. He was born in Edirne in 1534, which is located in Thrace, western part of Turkey. He fought many battles as a sultan. However, the most famous ones are his Nubian campaigns, the Battle of Anarka and the Battle of Nicopolis, which is represented in this painting. Bayezid I ascended the throne after his father's death. The Serbs became his vassals after allying himself with them by marrying Olivera Despina, the daughter of Prince Lazar of Serbia. Bayezid I died in 1403 while in captivity of the Mongol ruler who defeated him, Tamerlane. At the time of his attempt to conquer Constantinople from the Byzantiums, he came to the aid of the Bulgarian in their fort of Nicopolis and crushed the Christian rivals. This fort, shown in the picture as a majestic fort waving its flag, and the enemies are shown as inexperienced soldiers hiding cowardly behind a rock. The Battle of Nicopolis was involved in the Venetian-Hungarian Crusades in September 25th of 1396. The Ottoman Empire had a total of 20,000 men, although some sources estimate his numbers at 60,000, and the opposing crusaders had between 47,000 and 49,000 soldiers, although others say somewhere from 120,000 to 130,000 men. The painting shows how the outnumbered Ottomans, with their fierce leader and soldiers and intelligent tactics, crushed their enemies.
Besides being involved with these battles, the Crusades were also involved with the Arab independence movement and the Pan-Islamism movement. The Crusades were later regarded by the Muslims as cruel and believed that the Crusades were caused by the hatred, greed, and jealousy. The West thought of the Crusades as being heroic and stopping the spread of Islam, while the Muslims referred to the wars as Frankish invasions. The Crusades had a negative effect on the Muslims, however. They caused the Muslim world to become over-offensive towards their neighboring civilizations. The Crusades also caused the Muslim world to set up intellectual barriers and become very isolated in their policies. This led to the Islamic world to lag far behind in the world scene. These effects became steadily worse over time. Also, Europe lost prestige and military status in the eyes of the Muslims, perhaps encouraging the later Turkish incursions into the Balkans. Yet another effect on the Islamic world was that the Crusades also caused them to be more conservative in their technological and cultural innovations. From back to the times when the Crusades became involved in the Islamic world to present day, Muslims still see the Crusades to show the ills of the West.
The Crusades not only affected the Islamic world by conquest, but also affected their religion and economy. The term crusade comes from the Latin word meaning cross, and the Crusades wanted to spread Christianity throughout parts of the world. The Crusades had an objective to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslims and also to stop the spread of Islam. The Holy Land was actually Jerusalem, which was equally considered sacred by the Muslims, Jews, and Christians. The Crusades had another negative effects on Muslims, for they became overprotected of their religion. Muslims had developed such a hatred for the Crusades that they later celebrated Saladin as a hero against the Crusades.
The Crusaders disrespected and destroyed any signs of Islam in Jerusalem, and also destroyed their way of life as well as their economy. The Crusaders massacred the Muslims in the streets of the Holy City and left the blood and limbs laying on the road. They desecrated the mosque by leaving the dead bodies in there and staining the walls and floor with blood. When some Muslims were captured, they were either tortured, thrown off buildings and rooftops, or even burned alive. The Crusaders stole from and looted the mosques as well as the Muslims' houses.
In conclusion, the thunderbolt represents cultural and religious points of the Crusades as well as the importance of the siege tactic used by the Muslims. The Crusades are represented through conquest and religion. The points of this painting represent and illustrate life in the Islamic world. The Crusades permanently made an impact on the Islamic people, and even today Muslims consider the Crusades to be a symbol of Western hostility towards them. Even so, the Crusades changed Islamic culture, including art, as well as spreading their ideas and beliefs through Asia. Lockman created his masterpiece, The Thunderbolt, in 1584. The painting was created with opaque watercolor and ink on paper. The painting comes from the largest and best illustrated works of historical paintings coming from the Ottoman classical period. The Thunderbolt includes Bayezid I, the Ottoman Sultan, who appears in the center of the painting as a swordsman. The illustration documents the Battle of Nicopolis, where Bayezid inflicted a great defeat upon his Christian rivals. The Thunderbolt is not a beautiful art piece, but on the other hand represents the Islamic world and the effects of Bayezid I and the Crusades on the Islamic people and the impact the invasions had on their religion and culture as well as their general way of life.